life's a roller coaster, or life's a game, you just got to play it. How many of you have heard that throughout your life? Probably quite a few. But how many of you out there actually recognize and acknowledge that this is very, very true? Hello, YouTube world. My name is Katie. If you're new around here, then welcome. But if you're not new, welcome back, love. So, in today's video, we're going to go over how I think life's a game and how you should play it. This is probably super confusing to those of you who have probably either never heard that quote or don't understand sort of what I'm going to go on about. But it's all right because I'm going to break it down for you. You'll absolutely understand what I'm saying. And also, there's a pretty famous quote by a pretty famous man that I remember seeing 20 years ago, and it just resonated with me highly. And I was so happy that people felt and knew the same as me.
Hi, editing me here. So, I was actually going to play you a clip of Bill Hicks and his Life is Just a Ride, but before uploading, it gave me a nice fat copyright strike and I would not be monetized from it at all. So, I can't actually show you, but I highly recommend that you Google it and I'll put a link in down below.
Yes, that was Bill Hicks. He's a comedian, but he wasn't really laughing during that. And that's because he obviously believes exactly what he was saying. And I believed exactly what he was saying. The only difference is I don't use the term life is a roller coaster or an amusement park. I use the term life is a game. And we will digress on further why I think that it's a game and why I think you should start basically thinking like it too. So, in that clip you just saw there, if you don't understand what he's saying, basically he's saying that life is a roller coaster. Everybody's on this ride because there's lots of flashing lights, there's lots of loud music, it's drawing everyone in. It's a really, really popular ride, and there are businessmen that are getting lots and lots of money from these tickets, right? So you're on this roller coaster, but the roller coaster just continues, and you're just continually paying the money to them, making them happy, right? And you don't know any different until you do, until you step off of the roller coaster and realize, hold on a minute, this actually isn't real. Then, when you realize that, you try to tell the people on the roller coaster to get off. But in doing so, you're not doing what the big people who are making the money want you to do. So, there's been many people in this world who have tried to say the exact same things as Bill Hicks, but unfortunately, they're not around anymore. There is a whole deep reasoning into sort of frequency, vibrations, and things like that. But I'm not going into that in this video. But the basis of this quote that Bill is saying is that some people understand that life is a roller coaster, a game. They try and tell the people who don't understand quite yet that it is a game and to quote unquote wake up. You may have heard that term even more so. That's basically what he's saying, and those people that are trying to help those people on the roller coaster are basically shot down. Those people who control the roller coaster are the same people that control the land, control the pharmaceuticals, control the government, and control everything in this world and planet, including all the money in the world that we could be using to, like he says, cure poverty. However, it's not real. It's not even real. Yes, there are villains in this world that we call Earth that are putting us down. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just a game anyway. It doesn't actually matter. How can I break this down for you more? Now, let me tell you about why I think life is a game and how I can translate this over to you. Hopefully, you can understand it a little bit more and understand not to care or worry at all about anything. So, I like to think life's a game, right? So let's just say that you're playing a game. Mario, for example. What do? You start playing the game, you start rolling around, you start doing things that you need to do, collecting things in life, furniture, things in life, you start collecting things. Then you start going around and you see a little mushroom that you need to get past. There's a little obstacle, so you might boop him on the head to get him out the way, right? Just a small little obstacle, that's fine. So then he carries on. Level one, carrying on. And you go through the level, you go through life, going through these small little mushrooms, these little obstacles in life that you get over. And then you come to a certain point where it's the end of the level. So, what usually happens at the end of a level? There's a boss. So, let's say that the boss in this level is your bigger obstacle. And so, you need to fight this boss, fight the obstacle that's in your life right now, that's a little bit tougher than all the other little mushrooms, in order to get past the boss and get onto level 2, right? So I like to think that when there's something little going on in my life, you know, that's like a little mushroom, I've just got to get out of my life, and that's cool. Then I'll get to something that's a little bit harder to deal with, right? Just a little bit harder, and that's my boss. And once you've got over that boss, you then get to level 2, and you start doing it all over again. So you go through and you start bumping on the mushrooms. Things might be a little bit easier, things might be a little less easier. Who knows? It's a fucking game. So when you carry on, you get to the end of level 2, and what happens? There's another big obstacle because it's another boss. You get over the next boss and you go on to level 3. Do you understand what I'm saying in this sort of theory, right? This is a basis of how I think. This is in no way a deep, there are so many nuances to this, right? But this is a basis of how I think and just how I can easily translate it to you so that hopefully people that don't even understand about this sort of shit can understand what I'm saying. When you're going through these levels, there could be little villains that come out at you to try and stop you going further in the level. These little villains aren't obstacles, as I would call them, the little mushroom in Mario. I wouldn't call them the mushroom. I'd say maybe it was, what's his Wario? Is that the evil one of him, right? So let's say that Wario, for example, is coming over and he's trying to stop you getting over to that first level, getting past the boss and leveling up. These things in life I like to call fear. Because fear is not real, right? Fear is not real. It doesn't exist once you pass over. Nothing exists once you pass over. The only thing that does exist is your consciousness, which is your soul. That is the only thing that is real, and your experiences, right? Nothing else is, not even your brain. Your brain is only here because you're in a physical body, right? When you pass over, you don't need your fucking brain. So your mind doesn't matter. So when you are in that point of understanding that, fear doesn't affect you as much. So Wario could come along with some fear, and if you are someone who understands what's happening, you can just easily fight him out of the way. But there are some people who are on the roller coaster who are going through life and getting to these little villains in life and listening to what they're saying, i.e., news, i.e., media, right? All of these things that are pumped at you is always fucking negative. All right? Always negative. There might be a sprinkle of goodness in there, like, oh, someone did something for charity, or, oh, a hero went over to go and see a dying kid of cancer. There might be some sprinkles of it, but most of it is war, fear-mongering, no fucking money, war, drugs, war, politics, think this way, look this way, don't look that way. And that is what keeps people on the roller coaster or on the same level. I hope that makes sense. So, going on from that, when you can start to break out of the matrix, I suppose, because most people would call it that. When you start to understand to break out of the matrix, this is when your critical thinking starts to come in. Okay, so we've been conditioned. I have a video before talking about this, but we have been conditioned throughout all of our lives since birth to believe a certain way, think a certain way, talk a certain way, right? We have been conditioned to be a certain way in society because we believe it to be the right way. When you start to critical think and you start to look at it from a different angle, you start questioning things and saying to yourself, why am I doing this when ultimately it doesn't fucking matter? It feels real right now, of course it does, because you're a human right now living this experience in this body, right? You can feel this, right? You slap yourself, you can feel it. Yeah, someone talks to you, you can hear it. It's real right now, but in the grand scheme of things, this whole matrix is all made up. So it doesn't matter if there's villains in this world. In the grand scheme of things, knowing an all-knowing consciousness that this is all an experience and that no one is ever truly hurt. It's so harsh to say this because I know a lot of people are just like, what the fuck has she just said? Because it's real in this world right now, of course I wouldn't want poverty, right? Of course I would want everybody to fucking live how we live. But it is all an experience. It is all an experience for your consciousness soul to come down here and live. However, we get stuck on that ride, right? We get stuck on that ride and we get stuck on the game where they're feeding us all this information and you're not able to start understanding these things. To quote Bill Hicks again, he said, it's just a simple choice, love or fear. When you can take the fear away from your life, you can start to understand a higher way of living, an easier way of living, and you start not to care as much, worry as much. You see that everybody is the same. We are all connected. We're all connected. It doesn't matter where anybody's consciousness life is right now. That is where they are meant to be in their life. We have free will, so we can do, whatever we want down here. But sometimes our free will gets overshadowed massively by these all singing, all dancing lights to keep you occupied, right? I'm so happy that there's people like Bill Hicks and many, many other people, famous and not famous, who know this way of life, right? Who can understand that it doesn't have to be the way you think it is. But this is why so many of these people have been shot down in life, because this isn't what the elites, if you would call them that, whatever, this isn't what all of those people who own everything want. I mean, for fuck's sake, Bill Gates owns a ton of land. Why is he owning land? Stick to computers, right? But no, there's a reason for that. It's to build more fucking roller coasters to keep more people fucking going. So, next time you're having a little obstacle in your life, a little mushroom on the level, I want you to remember that this is a game. Do not take everything so seriously. Okay? I know it feels real right now because that is the idea of a human life. To feel real. Like, this is why we have a body, for fuck's sake. Like, you wouldn't be able to feel if we didn't have a physical body, right? The whole idea of the human incarnation is to have experience. And I want you guys to have more experience and less fear. We are the creators of our game. So we will get to the end of the level. And we will fight each boss. And we will level up. The difference is your mindset when you're fighting the boss. If you can allow yourself to not care as much because it's not real, then you can allow yourself to go through that level with as much knowledge and power as you can. If you don't believe in yourself and you get to that boss and you're a weak person, you are always going to stay on that roller coaster because you don't believe that life is better elsewhere off of it. When you start believing in yourself, knowing that you are the creator of this game, that you will get over these obstacles and you will fight this boss, you have that strength to carry on to the next level and continue through all of the mushrooms, all of every villain that they have to throw at you, and you can still make it to level 2 in record time. I don't want anyone to get stuck. Turn off the TV. Don't read the news. It is all nothing but fear. Turn it off. Go and live the good life. Go and book a holiday somewhere. Go and book some time off. Go and enjoy life. Something will get figured out. It always does. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I really do. If you've got anything out of this, please feel free to like the video so I know that you like it. Because this is very new topics. You know, there's a lot of new subscribers that came along from my other video. So hello, if you're new and you're like, what is this? I subscribed from the medical. There is lots of medical to come, right? There really is. But this is an aspect of me that I would like to pass on to my audience, as I feel that you could get value out of this information if it helps you. You know, maybe save this video, pass it on to somebody who may need to hear these words today. But just know that, again, you are the creator of this fucking game, all right? So you can control it. You really can. I hope you all do well. Feel free to subscribe if you've got any value. Like I said, I'm on my way to 5K and we have rocketed past 3,500. So thank you so much to everybody that's come along. And thank you to the new member as well. Much appreciated. I'm going to get a little screen that runs through with all of the names coming up in the next week's video. Peace and love to everyone. I love you all. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And I will see you next week.